seeing a lot of Rubik throughout the qualifier so far. That's kind of a normal thing. And we've seen Tree, I think, one other game, and that game he lost, if I'm remembering correctly. So I'm wondering what the draw is of like Snap picking a Tree. I feel like there's something else that they have in mind that they want to pair with this hero.
Well, I will say this. The other day against that Team Spirit was playing, they also were picking the Tree. And I think that in the games that Vega Squadron won against Navi, if I'm not mistaken, it got one other one as well. So there's been a couple others that have been floating around. And it feels like it tends to be in combination with like, God, what was the other one that they ran it with? Puck, which was kind of a weird, like, not anti-synergy, but like weird-ish kind of synergy where you root somebody in place and then you coil them. So you kind of want to like snap the coil, but at the same time they're stuck in place. But to me, it felt like very cool extensions of team fights. So you'd see things like the Tree running around, and then he would plant an ironwood branch and walk into the middle of the lane and root somebody, which was just really funny to watch. CIS was playing it, and it was really cool.
Team pick.
No, yeah, I know that Tree is definitely one of those heroes that he does a lot more than I think people can kind of really see. Like things like living armor, it's really hard to put a face value on that other than, oh yeah, our towers just don't get pushed. But if you think about it in a broader sense of my tier 1 stay alive for like 5 extra minutes,
right?
People have a really hard time putting a value on that kind of thing. So I do think the hero definitely has potential.
10 seconds.
We are going to see a Visage here. I believe we also saw a core Visage that was played by, I want to say it was SM. Yeah, Lanaya played it. And I think they also lost that game. But obviously Vega, a little bit of a higher caliber team here. Curious to see what position they want to put this in. I'm guessing it's got to be a core because they already have a Tree and a Rubik.
Yeah. So
it's either going to be mid or safe lane.
That was something that G played the other day too, in their 18-minute win against Gambit, was a mid Visage. Granted, there were a lot of other problems that were going on in that game. The other hero to me that's also standing out is this Enchantress. It's tended to be banned out, and it feels like this hero is still quite good.
Yeah, Ench is crazy. Like, if you don't have the correct heroes to lane against her, she can be an absolute nightmare. I think Untouchable is probably one of, like, the few abilities in the game that changes the dynamic of the laning phase so much that you literally have to address it. It's kind of like playing against a Broodmother or a Techies, right? These heroes have a mechanic that it can't be ignored, more or less. Like, obviously, the spiders and the mobility of the Brood, the mines themselves from the Techies, and then Enchantress is just, you can't auto-attack me.
Yeah.
Like, you can, but it's very seldom actually worth it. So it's obviously strong laning presence. Team Spirit don't want to go with the same kind of, not really 4 Protect 1, but it was kind of 4 Protect 1 in the first match. But yeah, I'm liking, again, I think both the drafts look pretty good so far.
Definitely. Whoa!
Okay, that's a Bristleback. Let's go. Let's go, Bristleback spammers.
Oh,
I actually think this hero is super good against their team. Okay, so a couple things to note about Bristleback and when you do and when you don't want to pick him.
All right.
When you want to pick him, right? Low base armor heroes. Visage, Rubik, Tree, all low base armor, right? Even Sand Kings is like, meh, it's mediocre.
Right.
The other thing that you want to pick it against are lineups that don't really have a tremendous amount of burst damage and don't necessarily have super strong lanes to just kill you. Vega don't really have that. Like, Visage is low damage, Rubik is low damage, Sand King can harass, but he's probably not going to be in the Bristleback's lane. And Tree and Protector is just kind of like, he can hit you pretty hard, but he also takes a lot of damage from Quills because he doesn't have armor. So you also want to play it against lineups where you're building those team fight oriented items like Crimson Guard and Pipe actually give you a lot of value. This is one of those games. Crimson Guard completely demolishes Visage Birds. They do no damage through the Crimson Guard at all.
Yeah.
Sand King, Pipe is good against Epi. So this is like a next level Bristleback game, I feel.
Well, one thing also I want to mention real quickly, I didn't notice this when the game first started. I looked at the drafter. DK Phobos picked himself a Bristleback. They have switched out the drafters for this game. FNG no longer drafting for Spirit. Kind of interested. I always wonder when that happens mid-series, what's going on? If there's some frustration or something going on there. But, you know, it's a really great game for a Bristleback, certainly. Silver Edge Carriers, they don't have one of them so far. Do they need that?
I mean, it's nice. It's definitely a plus. And they also ban out Viper, who's one of those heroes that just gives you a Silver Edge for free, so long as you can actually stun the hero inside of the Nether Toxin Cloud. So I'm digging it, man. But again, I really like Spirit's draft in game 1, and they got just
10 seconds
murdered.
remaining.
So who knows? Maybe it's bad luck for me to like your draft.
Yeah,
5
and I think the biggest thing
seconds
too about this Bristleback pick to me is that you've got this lineup that I think wants to play aggressive around this Visage. You want to be pushing the tempo. It's hard to do that against a Bristleback who's just going to sit in a lane and stop you from pushing, right? Like, this guy is not going to go anywhere. If he sits mid, Visage isn't going to be able to walk up and hit that tower.
Yeah, I agree completely. I think the Bristleback was great. And plus, you know, Vega are going for this lineup where they're pretty heavily, like, single target focused if you think about it. Like, sure, Sand King offers some AoE, but Visage is almost all single target damage. Rubik can bounce a Fade Bolt here and there, but I wouldn't really call that, like, AoE. And Tree, Leech Seed is single target, Overgrowth is crowd control, but it's not damage, right? So how are they going to kill him is my question. Like, obviously, there's still a laning phase to worry about, and you can make mistakes, and you can get, like, overrun, similar to how Vega did to Spirit in game 1. But just looking at, like, the possibility of what a Bristleback can do in this game, his potential is very, very high.
Yeah. All right, well, we'll see. Last pick now for Team Spirit, needing most likely their safe lane. Well, I don't know. We'll see what they take here. It's going to be a Razor, so just a strong laner. Make sure that overrun doesn't happen, and it's going to be a last pick SF. So that's a Shadow Silver Edge builder, probably for Undershock, and I guess a good bit of damage.
Yeah, I'm okay with the Shadow Fiends. It's a good hybrid damage hero, which they didn't really have before. The heroes on their team were pretty much all Fizz, or I guess technically Visage Soul Assumption is magic damage, but predominantly he's physical based because you build the Solar Crest, you get your Aghanims, and those birds hit for Fizz damage. So I think the SF is a nice choice. They needed a core hero, like you said, Silver Edge Carrier. He does good physical damage, good in conjunction with, like, the Solar Crest, allows them to be able to kill Roche and whatnot. So it's definitely a great pick. My question is, okay, so it is going to be G playing Bristleback. Illidan will be the Razor. I think that Vega might have a tough time in the lanes.
Okay.
I think that, like, depending on how they match up, like, if the Razor gets up against the SF, he's going to need help. I don't know if the Sand King Bristleback matchup is necessarily, like, as good as Vega wants it to be, but again, we'll have to see how the lanes go.
So here's my question now. Last game, it was very clear who the team was that wanted to get to the late game. With the Shadow Fiend pick, I'm kind of questioning, like, does Vega have superior late game? Can they be the ones that are trying to delay it? Or do you think that, you know, you still have that strength for Spirit in the late game?
I mean, once the Silver Edge comes out, the Bristleback is going to feel a lot more squishy. And I wouldn't necessarily say that Bristle and Razor are, like, amazing late game heroes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's about 50-50 in my opinion. A lot of it just boils down to how the fights go. I think that Vega, like, until they picked the Shadow Fiend, they did have a bit of a damage issue.
Yeah.
But I think that hero kind of fixes a lot of the problems that they had before, because now there's actually something to use with Overgrowth besides just Epi.
Right. Yeah, and I guess part of the reason I was asking that question is because I just never know how fully to rate Visage as a hero, like, going late game, how strong it is. I think I've played this hero like 3 times. I haven't seen it that often in the meta. Like, it just always feels to me like a conundrum. I never know what to think of it.
I mean, it's just one of those things that you play Dota long enough and you get experience on a hero and you're like, oh, okay, this hero can do this and this.
Yeah.
And that if you can't achieve your goals in the game, don't pick him.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
just
with
it.
you. For sure. I'm with you.
30 seconds.
Well, Zayat here is going to try and move and, you know, defend and try and, or not defend, excuse me, pull the creep wave most likely. Scouting out also, maybe going to get down to deep ward. G, Biver, they are going to switch up the lanes, I guess?
Again, I think the lane matchup is very important for both these teams. Like, you want the Razor in a good matchup. You want the Shadow Fiend in a good matchup. Obviously, that hero is very, very important to Vegas drafts for, like, the early game. You get snowballing, you get your souls. You're gonna be sitting real pretty.
Yeah. And looks like Fantimo's gonna head out there on the Visage. And we'll see Vega as they are going to try and aggro this DK Phobos Night Stalker. Biver heading up there as well. And Team Spirit looking like they're gonna run Dark Willow Razor against Blizzy. Yeah, we'll see how this matchup works out. G mid Bristle. It's been a while since I've seen that.
I don't actually remember the last time I've seen this. I mean, I think it's okay. Obviously, he's against two heroes that don't really have the greatest harassment tools. Shioma's pretty much just here to try to give Undershock an easier time getting the souls more than anything else. Yeah. He could have a rough go once the Shadow Fiend hits 3, just because a lot of the time when you go in for a CS, that's when you have a tendency to eat raises. Like the Shadow Fiend player wants to raise you and the creeps together, and you're a melee hero, so that's not as hard as it is against range.
And I guess if you're going for last hits on G, you might end up not being able to turn your back in time also. He is going to have a little bit of a level advantage since there's 2 heroes here. While Biver going to be heading off to the jungle, try and get himself a nice little chunk of farm while DK Phobos getting punched by a tree.
Yeah, I mean, in regards to the level advantage in mid, he'll only have it if they're not like really good about denying. The more souls you get, the easier it is to deny, and the more denies you can actually out-level in a dual lane against a solo hero if you're denying like every creep. I mean, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but it is possible.
Okay.
Oh, there we go.
That almost ends up going down. It's all fine, I'm sure. Shadow Fiend now starting to get into those souls, 7 so far. Haven't seen a whole lot out of these other lanes as of yet. Blizzy going to be able to find a D ward. Should be able to secure himself also at least one of these runes, most likely. He wants to try and rune control. Sees that there's one there, and it said it's going to be a haste top for Slayer.
I'll take off.
Mid lane, though. Look out. Shadow Fiend, you're in some trouble, Undershock. Need to run away, and with that, Slayer's going to move in. Try and make sure that Shadow Fiend stays alive.
I mean, thank goodness for that freaking hasted Rubik. Those creeps would just eat him alive right now.
Excuse me?
Oh, no way. No, oh my. That's a feels bad, man.
There's some pings going on, although I think that was from the Dark Willow. And, God, if they're not careful, they might end up taking him down again here with FNG in the area. Can they do something here? Enchantress is coming back in. Cursed Crown, Undershock, in trouble. G is going to get hit, but he dies twice.
There you are.
The second one hurts even more because now you don't have a TP. Now you're going to waddle your sad Shadow Fiendy body back to lane, and you're going to be super, super sad about it. That is a tough one to swallow right there.
Well, laning phase is 1 for Team Spirit. Maybe not completely 1, but it is rough right now if you are a Vega Squadron, and God, they're thinking about going back in again. I mean, why not, right? Like, he's going to get a tornado on him. Oh, no. This Undershock Shadow Fiend feels bad. They're going to need to get some stacks for him.
Yeah, this is one of the glaring issues with the early game of Vega is they don't have a hero that's good against, like, creeps. So if you have a Chen or you have an Enchantress, you're going to have to deal with those creeps, and Rubik is just not that hero.
Yeah.
I mean, Tree can kind of, like, hit them and stuff, but it doesn't... You know, you're not stopping them from killing your Shadow Fiend.
Dire's structures are fortified.
Well, Razor now also able to bully back Blizzy. It's taking away a lot of that damage.
Gotcha.
He's not going to be able to last it under tower super effectively. He does give boots already, so it's not all bad. Palatimo's going to try and put the hurt here to DK Phobos. But Shadow Fiend is also that type of hero that can catch back up as game goes on.
Yeah, for sure. The raises are going to be more than enough to catapult him back into a good position. Oh, First Blood, actually. Or sorry, Killing Spree.
Yeah.
Why did I take First Blood? What's wrong with me? Okay.
First Blood that wasn't the Shadow Fiend.
Yeah, second blood, technically. And trees don't bleed, so I don't know. Yeah, this Ench is doing absolute work during the laning phase.
Normally, I've been seeing a lot of the Enchantresses played in like a farming role, but this is just like running around making stuff happen. Mid top lane again. They do find the Visage here. They're going to have a Stomp in a second if they want to use it. Phobos diving for this one. They do have Soul Assumption to try and turn this, and DK Phobos just going to have to go for a little fly away. Not going to use Soul Assumption. Only 1 point in it, actually.
I think they might want to do some like Radiant stacking for the Shadow Fiend. Get Undershock a little bit of the EXP and levels, because once he hits 5, he can triple raise basically any size stack and deal with it pretty handedly. I would like to see, I mean, Shioma's kind of sticking around because he's terrified that Ench is going to come back to the lane.
Right.
But they can see Viber top.
Now the Rubik is going to run into Biver and realizes he does not want to be in this world anymore. He does miss the clap there on Biver, so Slayer now needing to run away. They do have the medallion as well, trying to get within range of that Enchantress. Would have been a big kill, but not going to be happening.
Yeah, I really like his choice of items too, going for the medallion straight up. That means it's going to be even easier for them to take Roche. You can get the nasal goose stacks on him. That's minus armor. You get the eventual solar crest on top of that. There is just so many things going well right now for Spirit. I mean, it's only 5 minutes in, but if you look at like the CS, the Razor is doing extremely well. The Bristleback is doing extremely well. They even went aggro against the NS, and he's still getting farmed too. So it's not as if Vega are looking at any one lane and saying, okay, we feel particularly good about this one. It's more like, okay, we're doing okay in some lanes, but we're losing the other ones.
Yeah. Well, and now you are heading off to the jungle as the Shadow Fiend Undershock just to try and take the pressure away. But honestly, the way that Team Spirit has been playing, Enchantress could just run in there and kill him off, and there's not going to be likely a rotation that can happen. Plus, you won't have that bonus armor you get from a tower or a medallion on him. He might drop even quicker.
No, yeah, there's definitely a huge amount of momentum right now for Spirit. And these early game situations, we talked about game one, how execution heavy the draft was. I'd say that it wasn't even as extreme of an execute heavy draft that Spirit have right now, because the moving parts are basically just the Ench and the Night Stalker, and the rest of the heroes are more or less self-sufficient. I mean, Willow can go around it and make things happen as well, especially post 6, but there's a lot of stability in Spirit's draft, and they're still having a very, very strong lane showing.
Well, they pick up Dark Troll Summoner now, and with all the vision in that world, they're actually going to end up getting the D ward. So now Radiant realizing, all right, we need to get the hell out of here. They're going to have vision over us, and instead it's smoke towards mid, where they want to try and find Undershock, who's come back from the jungle, limited mana, and yeah, he's going to run the hell out of there. Time to get away.
Farming these close camps are dangerous, though. This is a very, very predictable spot for the Shadow Fiend to be.
Fiverr looking for that opening. The Rubik is in the area, but not close enough to try and help. They're going to take over one of the stacks that he wanted to clear through earlier. And actually, Shadow Fiend able to escape for the moment, as they're going to instead find Slayer. And he is able to dodge away from the roots, but it's still going to be a lot of right clicks in, and well, he ends up going down. So they dodge the gank on Shadow Fiend. They lose the Rubik for it. I think you take that if you're Vega.
So a little bit of a random question between these two teams, because I know that the Beyond the Summit Twitter posted something about how these teams are pretty evenly matched. Like it's a 54% win rate towards one team. I think it was Spirit.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly.
Oh, it's Vega actually. Yeah.
Oh, it's okay. It is Vega who have the advantage.
Yeah.
Do they ever have a close game?
I don't know, because this feels like it's not close at all. Stomps one way or the other. And
well, at least not. Obviously, we're only 7 minutes in, but it could get ugly real quick if Vega don't do something.
Yeah. Well, now Slayer is going to get ran at again, and just underneath the tower, they're going to be able to kill off this Rubik, most likely. Zayat maybe going to move into position. They want to try and take him down. They hit the Leech Seed as well, but the Cursed Crown is there onto the Sinking, so he can't make the rotation as quickly as he would want. The Root is also going to connect, but Illidan, they find the stun now onto Enchantress. Going to go for the Sandstorm. They do have a Soul Assumption available. That's going to be a kill onto Illidan. They at least are going to hold their tower.
Yeah, they get an important kill. It's a core hero. I actually think Illidan could have lived there. He had Agitreads on when he was low on mana, and the Sand King had already used stun. I think he could just TP'd away. But, when you're in the moment, obviously there's always the coulda, woulda, shoulda. And they're still looking real good, like a 4K lead at 8 minutes, especially considering the fact that they haven't taken a single tower. Like, that is very, very big. And this Bristleback is just farming freaking Ancients over here. He's got enough for his Vanguard now. I'm curious to see if he actually just goes straight for the Crimson, or if he decides to go for like a casual hood first.
Epicenter, bottom lane, as they are going again onto Illidan, and he's going to be punished. So, again, it's a big lead for Team Spirit, but they're starting to give away these important kills. He's feeling maybe a little bit rough for him. Also, Shadow Fiend's had some time to himself, clears out a stack. He's up at level 6 now, almost has treads. I mean, it's not as good as the Vanguard, but he's leading the CS and starting to catch up in net worth a little bit. Guys.
Yeah, the SF, and you said it yourself, that hero he's probably one of the best farmers, especially with the Clarity Abuse patch. Like, that's why Shadow Fiend is so prevalent, and especially in pubs, because Clarities are broken. They are just way too good right now, and they probably need to be nerfed. But yeah, he's going to continue to flash farm. Not really much pressure coming his way. He's sitting in the safest spot on the map, too. when you're in a game like this and you're being pressured, one of the worst things that you can do against experienced players is walk to those 2 camps by your tier 2 mid, because every player does that, and anyone who is like worth anything in the game is going to know exactly where you are. That's why when Spirit smoked earlier, they ran behind the tower, because that's the first place that the Shadow Fiend is usually going to be in his farming.
Well, the Living Armor is not going to do much to stop this pressure coming in from Team Spirit. They don't have 6 yet on the tree, as he is still just trying to soak up experience, and they deal some damage to him, but he does back out again, as top lane is looking like they want to try and set up onto Phobos. Just outside of range, they weren't able to get the lift with Slayer.
I do have Blizzy, but I don't think the Rubik is close enough to get a follow-up stun. Yeah, they're not. So, I mean, these are just towers being pressured right now. G says, you know what? Screw your Crimson Guard. I'm just going to buy Radiance. They can't kill me this game.
Yeah. It's a long way before they get to it. They do also have a glyph used. The creep wave is almost dead here. And you also have Zayat, who's pulling the full creep wave back and away. Just wanting to keep his buddy alive. They actually take down the Visage. DK Phobos able to dive for that one. So the tree doing his best to just play Ring Around the Rosie with all these creeps. They keep their bottom tier 2 alive, and they're able to take a tier 1 of their own. Vega trying to find answers, but this Team Spirit lineup is just, it's so hard to punish. It feels like it's just delaying the inevitable almost.
I mean, Illidan's pinging bottom lane right now because he just double waved his own team, and there's a cart. If Spirit come down here and force, they just take this tower. They're even looking to take mid at the same time.
Oh, there's going to be a sandstorm. It's about all that they can do to stop it. Yeah, you're not wrong, man. They are running at this tower. Double wave, cart, it's pushing. And it looks like right now, Vega Squadron, this is the line that they want to try and defend. You don't have level 6 yet on the tree. It's a little bit hard to come and defend this. They are bringing in Blizzy as well. Sandstorm starting to burn through these creeps. The Burrow Strike is there as well. Epicenter, no! They get the silence off, able to interrupt, but now the TPs, the rest of them are coming in. They're able to take down the Razor. They still haven't been able to defend this tower fully as the cart is starting to deal the significant damage. 100 HP, it looks like they're barely able to keep it alive, while Bristleback is starting to show up as well now. Throw out the silence, trying to run away. Dark Willow there as well. And Team Spirit, do they want to fully push for this? I mean, while this is happening, you've still got the Shadow Fiend who's going to be able to push out mid.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to commit without your Razor. This seems a little bit... Okay, they're waiting for nighttime. Here we go.
All right, Terrorize on to 2. Not bad. The Overgrowth comes out as they're taking these heroes not low because there's not all that much damage, but they're at least keeping them back from fully taking down the tower as of yet. 300 HP on it. They use the secondary glyph now. And they're still keeping this tower alive. You desperately want to get this because of the tree, but it looks like Team Spirit might finally back off. Vega hold.
I gotta say, the idea to like triple wave your own tower was very brave from the tree player.
Yeah.
I thought for a second that might have backfired, but they haven't left yet, man. They're still here.
All right, Root comes out. Undershock able to take down 2. And with that, they are taking a lot of damage. Need to be careful about backing out. Sand King pauses the game. Visage disconnects. And
you hate to see that one.
Yeah.
That's a rough one. I will say, though, that even though they managed to kill the Bristleback, focusing him down has brought basically every single hero on Vega to no HP because they were hitting him in the back.
Yeah.
So they have taken a substantial amount of their health just by committing so hard to killing him. If they don't get kills here on Spirit, it could be real bad news.
All right, we'll see if they can hold. Visage does have resummon available, as well as 3 little ticks there. That Soul Assumption. They're going to try and turn on to Night Stalker, see if they can kill him down. He runs away. And Vega hold on for the moment, but with Razor back, it might be a bit too much. Team Spirit, they don't get that many kills, but they do get the tower.
Yeah, and in the meantime, I'm not sure if we mentioned it, but originally when they were kind of positioning by the tier 2 tower, G was kind of sitting mid, and he did take the tier 1 as well. So in the grand scheme of things, he forfeits his life, but he does end up getting an objective. He goes back for the Crimson Guard after his death. Maybe he thinks that he's not quite durable enough to warrant just rushing the Radiance.
Yeah. Well, and Vega, they are still holding on to their tier 1 top, which is probably where Team Spirit are going to next look to try and pressure. But losing that tier 2 hurts. You want to be able to keep those alive as long as possible with this tree.
Visibility.
And now, Vega need to find another answer.
Well, Spirits seem to still have a lot of momentum, but the damage is starting to ramp up on the side of Vega. You know, the Shadow Fiend, he's making his way towards the second item. Gonna see a burrow here.
Burrow over there to the side as they got themselves the Razor mid lane. They're gonna lose the tree, but you take that trade every day.
Yeah, Illidan's having a rough game, man. He's died 3 times in a row now. He's actually got like almost every single one of the deaths in the game was actually Illidan on his team. He's died 4 times and G died once.
Yeah. So
Radiant's middle tower is under
again,
attack.
it's a huge lead right now for Team Spirit. How do you leverage this into taking more than just the outer towers?
Are fortified.
What do you mean for Vega?
Yeah, no, for Spirit.
Oh, for Spirit. So, I mean, their team is very good at killing Roche. It might not look it, but they have a tremendous amount of minus armor between the medallion and having just the nasal goo that you can just throw onto Roche. So they do it pretty fast. Obviously, that would probably require them winning a team fight beforehand, but it can be done.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
The dust there, anticipating that Zayat was in the area, but he hides away in the trees. Dust about to wear off. Meanwhile, Undershock finds another kill onto Illidan while they're pushing the tower. They do need to be a little bit careful here. With Dust wearing off, Tree can break TPs for Team Spirit if they keep this pressure up. So a tier 2 being pressured from both teams now as they're diving forward for this Rubik, but they TP back to Sand King. Zayat's again in the area. He's got all the heals in the world. He can maybe find a way to keep this fight going. He ends up breaking the invis, still chasing forward for more. Undershock here as well. They're just outside of range, though, of the overgrowth. So Team Spirit back away after losing the tier 2 tower. Are they going back in right now? Zayat's going to see all of this. They spot out Undershock, though, trying to take him down. They do already pop the shrine. He's trying to run away. Silence, a good terrorize as well. And now Undershock actually able to walk away. They're able to keep him alive. The turnaround is going to be there. They will lose Blizzy, but they keep that Shadow Fiend alive.
That was a very nice overgrowth from Zayat. Hits everyone, basically. Undershock didn't even wand. That's some big balls right there.
You need to be careful now, though, as they have vision on him, and it's going to be all be for naught. He still ends up going down. A little bit dubious there as they lose 3 heroes. Also going to likely lose these Visage Familiars. Yeah, that's rough.
Man, that looks so good for a second. Like, Vega are going to be able to disengage. They've killed Illidan like 85 times in a row now at this point. Like, it was looking all right. I mean, I don't know if they're going to be able to keep this tower alive. I guess Shadow Fiend's up in about 20. He's the one you really want. But the Sand King doesn't have Blink, right? Because they opted for the Force Staff. So they don't really have that great initiation yet that the team really lacks.
Right. Somehow they managed to get a Wild Wing Ripper. Oh, it's the Dominated Visage. So that's about the best wave clear they can do from safety, at least for the moment. Sand King's pretty good still, and he is the Force Staff first. Do you like it?
I mean, it makes sense in this game because you know you're going to be getting run at a lot. And if you're defending towers in numbers, then, or if you get silenced, or if you get hit by quills, or all the random AoE, like ground targeted spells that Spirit have, you have the Razor Plasma Field as well. And I think, yeah, Brambles, Terrorize, there's a lot of stuff that can mess up your Blink Daggers. So I kind of get why he goes Force first. It's a bit of a safe option. Obviously less initiation, like I mentioned, but it is a bit more utility than just the Blink.
I gotcha. And it did save the Shadow Fiend before he ended up dying over in the jungle anyways earlier. Since he has to go for that Shadow Blade, which he is getting closer to. Like,
yeah, he's got it right now.
The quiet storm of Undershock in this game is starting to ramp up a little bit. And to me, at least, he feels like he's probably the hardest carry in the game.
I think he carries items probably the best, yeah.
Okay.
Because at some point, all the heroes on the side of Vega are going to have some armor items. The Bristleback will kind of lose influence in the fights. And, you know, if the game goes really, really long, obviously, like, you know, 50, 60 minutes. And then the Shadow Fiend will probably be the strongest hero at that point. But, you know, it all depends. I mean, we're seeing a fight here. Looks like Shioma has tanked the gank, as they say.
Oh, yeah. Very quickly dispatched of. Vega's going to try and pressure towards top lane, but while this is all going on, be careful. Rotation coming in from DK Phobos while Roche is going down. This is perhaps the big move right now that they need. Tree is in the area too. Unlikely that he's going to be able to go for any type of a steal or anything, but he gets in there a little bit.
Yeah, this is dead. No way you can do anything. They even dust. They're going to get a bonus tree kill.
Yeah, overgrowth used there, and that just means that he is going to end up falling. So they take down the tree, and now looking to try and finish off these tier 2 towers around the map.
Yeah, this looks to be the time for Spirit. I mean, the game goes later. I think that Vega start to regain a lot of the chance to win just because of the sheer like high ground pushing potential that Spirit have kind of falls off. They're going to be losing Blizzy here, it looks like too. It's off in the top lane.
Dark Willow just ended his day.
Dude, that hero is absolutely insane. Like, no hero in that position does that much damage.
Yeah. That was insane. Like, look at it. 1,100 damage with, like, no items, basically, that increase magic damage. Just has
Don't need items, man. And that's level 1 Bedlam. Level 2 Bedlam is more than double the damage of level 1. Think about that. It's more than double.
Oh, God. What a hero.
Radiant's middle tower.
Well, in the meantime, you do have Visage pushing out this bottom lane. Going to try and get some split push and go, and they have the Alpha Wolf as well. Zaya scouting things out, trying to get towards his Meteor Hammer. A classic build we've been seeing out of these trees. And he is delaying the push to some extent, although it's immediately going to be stopped the delay. And Visage going to see if he can force back Team Spirit, which it looks like he will.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
And they're going to push out the lanes and then come back mid. So, rinse and repeat right now for Team Spirit as they look to try and finish this off. Or at least get themselves to high ground.
Very methodical approach from Spirit, and it makes sense. I mean, you have a lead right now, but it is a lead that I would say is not very hard to lose just because of your composition. Here we go.
This is where you end up losing it. Epicenter coming out. Requiem of Souls blowing up DK Phobos. Meanwhile, FNG, well, they need to be a little bit wary. They have the Terrorize ready. The double raise Illidan moves forward. They're able to force back the rest of the side of Vega. Missed that pill. That would have hurt Blizzy a lot. But they find a big kill. Slow down that timing.
Yeah, they had the utmost respect for how tanky that hero is. And like, no, we know how much it's going to take to kill you. Yeah. So we're just going to drop the whole damn sink on your head, and you're just going to die. Because that's how you... When you're behind, I love to see stuff like that because it ensures that you get the kill and you don't get caught in this weird drawn-out fight where you know that you don't have anything up, right? Because you just use it all to kill the first hero. Yeah. You get in, you get out. That's it. And that's the kind of plays that can get you back into the game.
Guerrilla warfare. That's what we're looking at right now. I like it. That being said, G does have the Aegis and almost has his freaking Radiance now on top of Hood Crimson Guard. So they're going to need everything and maybe a bit more to take him down. They do have the Silver Edge completed now on the Shadow Fiend. He's going to go pick that one up.
I'll take your troops.
Can start to make a pretty substantial difference.
Yeah, and in regards to how much damage G takes, and not even just that, but you know how much damage he deals to the team when he's dying, which is also a big thing. Looks like Blizzy's maybe 5 years.
Oh, run away! You're afraid. That's a dead Blizzy. And meanwhile, Zayat just going to sort of be holding his breath in the area here. I guess he can cut the creep wave.
Yeah, he can if he wants to. He can do that thing he did earlier with like the double wave. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he wants to. I mean, it's a bit scary.
Looks like he's going to end up coming towards the bottom lane. They scan out, though, and realize that this Bristleback, G, is he going to play this greedy? He's walking over to the hard camp now. Oh, God, the Visage Birds, they spot him. They're trying to get within range. Are they really going to take this fight right now? The Cursed Crown, though, it comes out, and there's going to be the Requiem. It doesn't quite connect in time. Gee, he did not get broken either. They find the root, and now they need to back the hell out of here. So they will lose Slayer, it looks like. He does some damage to FNG, but again, it's all time bought, I guess, and they weren't able to find that kill onto the G. Bristleback.
Man, that Bedlam just soloed him. Pretty much. It literally just straight up killed him. I mean, sure, he was getting static linked by Illidan as well, so he probably would have died regardless, but Yeah, he walks forward with like 10% HP or something ridiculously low like that and says, no, you're definitely going to die before I do. There's just no question in my mind that I do that much more damage. It's crazy. Now, it looks like Radiance is going to be flying out here for G now. Aegis is going to expire. So they're not going to have the second life on him anymore. It is possible to kill G. It just requires a lot, and you definitely need to hit that Silver Edge on him.
Well, they also have the Meteor Hammer now done for the tree, so team fight potential. It's ramping up for Vega Squadron. It still feels like this is an incredibly strong timing for Team Spirit. 9,000 net worth lead for them. But for the first time in what feels like a while, Vega has the items that might make it possible to take a team fight. Might. Undershock gets the break there onto Enchantress. Deals some decent damage. They're going to have another Burrow Strike here in a second and able to connect onto two, but the Terrorize! It comes out. They're able to force it back. There's the Void onto the Night Stalker. Epicenter out as well. A lot of damage, but with this pipe, it might not be enough. The Requiem does come out. They're going to take down DK Phobos. Can they get away with everybody else, though? Zaya in trouble, trying to run. He actually is in biz. And the BK pop for Illidan. But they're going to be able to take down the tree. So, all told, 1-for-1 exchange. It's not that bad.
Yeah, that was all right, honestly. Like, they're trading, what, the pretty farmed Night Stalker for a not-so-farmed tree. Like, all he really has at this point is a Meteor Hammer. Doesn't even have a wand. And in the meantime, Blizzy's cutting the creep wave. So, yeah, that wasn't awful.
It still just feels like they're at such a deficit. This draft from Team Spirit is incredibly strong right now. What other items do we have coming out? It's going to be the Ags for the Night Stalker eventually. He's still a ways away from it, but he has all these like small items that just make him and his team so hard to kill off.
I think that it's going to feel like Vega are at a disadvantage until the SF has like the BKB done. That's going to be the point in which, sure, he can still get static linked, which is kind of the bummer for him. Okay, he's going for this kill.
This is a big one if they can get it. They're trying to take him down. Broken. DK Phobos. Now they need to TP away. This is a huge problem. They went for too much. Undershot going to be punished. He just wanted the one kill. And he is going to die for it. Meanwhile, Slayer also going to fall. Gotta never underestimate that Night Stalker's tankiness.
I think they were just getting a little bit greedy. I mean, there comes a point in the game where you kind of have to try to go for a play. Otherwise, you're just never going to make a recovery. Because if you just sit and play passive, the enemy team just assumes control of the map and you just lose based on that alone. Oh, he blinks too far. Does he not see him? There we go.
All right, well, Fiverr now going to be used everything on it. The Epicenter, the Meteor Hammer. And they don't get the kill. Other side, they will get the kill on the Enchantress. That's the gem, which they pick up on the Courier. So, nice get there for Team Spirit to make sure that they don't lose the gem.
That's actually happened twice, because they got a kill earlier when they were top. When they traded the 1-for-1, the NS had the gem, and he died with it, but they couldn't pick it up. Because they pretty much had to immediately disengage after they got their first kill.
Now with SF back up, as well as the Rubik, maybe going to look for more of those pickoffs. I will say, it has felt a little bit chaotic recently from Team Spirit. They're kind of spread out around the map. They're giving up kills here and there. They're kind of being pulled around the area, and it feels like Vega is starting to not necessarily catch up in terms of net worth because Team Spirit's farming more effectively, but at least get the items they need to fight.
Yeah, they are definitely an item-dependent team, no question. A Spirit require very little. They just get their Bristle back, like 1 or 2 items. They get the Razor 1 or 2 items, and they can just pretty much run at you all the time. Nice stunts there on the birds. This is going to go ahead and take you back to base. The real concern comes when G gets his own BKB. Then I just don't actually see how they kill him.
Well, Requiem again. Illidan. He's to the grave at this point. He's going to end up falling. And Vega going to back out. Again, Zaya doing a little dance there. It's the Meteor Hammer. Clears through a lot of the creep wave and just going to TP away most likely.
Gotcha.
This is so annoying, actually, what he's doing. Like, he just goes over there and nukes the creep once, and then they almost all die, pretty much.
Night Stalker is chasing Visage here. The rest of his team is nowhere to be found, really. Oh, never mind. Dark Willow's in the game. That's going to be a dead Sand King now. Most likely, Curse Crown comes in, and they are going to kill him off. Zayat in the area, though. Now FNG. They get the Overgrowth on to 3. And he is going to need to get the hell out of there as they are still chasing. They have another Force Staff in a second, I believe, coming in from one of their teammates. Nope, not able to help him. He goes down.
Well, again, I mean, if we look at it in terms of the overall trade, it's a 2 for 2.
Yeah.
And you got Illidan. Unfortunately, even after all these trades, favoring like which hero dies in terms of position, Spirit are still pulling ahead in regards of overall net worth. So it's, I don't know, I'm not sure if there's ever going to come a point where there's one really big fight where they can just crush it, because the cores on the side of Spirit are just so naturally tanky. Like with the Razor having a BKB and an actual team fight, it will be hard to get that kind of gank that they did on him where they just get the stun into Requiem. That's not going to happen in the 5 versus 5 because there's going to be a lot of other stuff going on and it's a lot of chaos. So it's very hard to line up that kind of chain of CC. But that's really the biggest issue. Like, where's the damage going to come from? The Shadow Fiend has a Silver Edge, which is great, but there's BKBs out now, so the Sand King Epi's not doing anything. And I don't think the Visage is really at a point where he can do the heavy lifting in terms of physical damage either.
Yeah.
So when or what is going to happen to where someone magically on Vegas starts to be able to kill something?
Yeah, I'm completely with you. You can't chain disable everybody, and that's been the strength previously, is that they get a Burrow Strike into a lift, and in that way you can even kill a BKB target with the Requiem, but if you've got multiples, it's not happening so much. Another Bedlam, a good bit of damage taken away there, and, well, Slayer, he ends up Bedlaming. How does it feel? How does it feel? Dark Willow goes down!
That's got to be feeling so good for Shioma right now. He's like, yeah, that's what you get. I mean, fortunately, No Field mitigates a lot of the Willow's damage.
Yeah.
It's actually one of the better heroes against her for just that reason. And of
just
course,
switched over to it too.
Yeah, it always feels real good to just like throw a spell in her face because they're just all so good.
Well, you mentioned it. It's delay time for Vega, as it's been this entire game. But delaying for what? Damage eventually. BKB is there for the SF, so even with BKB, I don't know if he could really stand in a fight. You've still got like Razor Link and all the damage coming from Bristleback. I guess they also have an AC completed for the Visage, which does start to make a bit of a difference too.
Yeah, the AC is going to be great. They give Illidan the cheese. Looks like she's going to take the Aegis again. And he's also going to be going towards his own Assault Cuirass. I think this is the point in where, you know, Vega are now in danger of like losing a set of racks. They're going to go for a setup here on the Willow.
Yep. Shadow Realm, Epi, broken, but they can't get it. There's going to be the overgrowth. Is she really going to escape again? No. They end up taking her down, but now they need to get out with the Shadow Fiend. He does have BKB TP away, so everybody else gets out. 10-second BKB used, though.
Yeah, for a support kill, it's not ideal, but you know, you take what you can get in these types of situations where you're behind. They're doing what they can, you know. They're keeping the Visage and the Shadow Fiend on opposite sides of the map. They're split pushing the lanes. They're trying to force Spirit to defend rather than make use of the advantage they just gleaned by killing Roshan. So, you know, don't let them use the Aegis to push. Don't let them use the cheese to push, because if they get together as 5 and they're knocking on our door, we might not be able to answer.
Yeah. They have this break here to hit onto the Bristleback, and they're trying to do something to him. Still the haste on Undershock, so he's just going to run away afterwards. Again, the strength of that Bristleback, it's getting close to impossible to deal with it. They have a Force Staff on Rubik now, so a couple of these different save mechanisms try and keep their cores alive, and Undershock trying to get towards the Butterfly. I mean, if this game is continuing to be delayed in this fashion, you've got the split-pushing Visage, like, does it get to a tenable point for Vega? Like, do they eventually get to a position where they can take these fights?
I mean, it is feasible if Zayak doesn't just instantly get murdered.
Oh,
you know, you're there, sir.
This is a scary, scary time indeed. The fear, they're chasing down this Shadow Fiend. He needs to run the hell out of here. They are going to lose a lot of heroes, and that was not the way they wanted this to go at all. She is also going to chase down Undershock here. They have the break available if they want to use it in a second, but with this gem, there was not a way out of there for Blizzy. They buy back on everybody. Vega, how are they going to hold against this? I don't know if they can. Just for now, it looks like Team Spirit are comfortable with those buybacks, though.
That's a lot of money that they just spent that I don't really know if they have. Yeah, they're marking the lanes like, yeah, just push the lanes out. They just bought back, try to constrict them. If they can keep all lanes past the river and have this kind of advantage where they know that Vega doesn't want to fight into them, the game becomes like not impossible, but about as hard as it can get, even without being down like a Rax. You've probably played a game like that too, where you feel like you can't really get out on the map, even though you're not down a Rax. You don't really feel like you're winning,
Right.
and you don't feel like you can make a play. That's kind of where Vega are at right now.
Well, a split push with the birds is about the best they can hope for, but even that is sort of stopping now since you've got G just barreling down our lane. So, like, no place to TP into, nobody here, but he still feels that strong. He does need to be careful, though, because he might not be that strong. No, never mind, there's the BKB. All right, yeah, it's done. And he's going bottom. All right, this is a problem. They are all here, and TPs on cooldown. They're coming into the area, able to get the fear there onto 3 heroes. Full Assumption tickling at this point, and Team Spirit just gonna back out again. Wait till nighttime.
I mean, they're pulling them apart, you know, just a little bit of an engagement top. G says, okay, fine, TP bottom. Force you guys to TP back to base, otherwise we take your racks, and now they can just go back to what they were doing, which is, you know, idly pushing in the lanes, taking control of Vega's own jungle, maybe establish some vision. They dropped a ward a little while ago. I guess it was about a minute and a half in bottom, but yeah, it's rough right now. And next Knight's coming in about 60 seconds, and that's with an Aghanim's Gem Night Stalker.
They're waiting for somebody to TP over here. Nobody on Vega is taking the bait, but they are going to do this smoke move with 3 again. They want to try and set up here. They realize people in the area need to get the hell out of dodge, though. Requiem Souls comes out and starts to blow them up. They actually get the Dark Willow kill, but the rest of them need to escape now. Sand King, he does fall, but they trade it for the Dark Willow. Not the greatest trade in the world, but it's something.
Kill's a kill, man. At this point, you can't be picky. You got to take anyone down that you can. And, you know, Zayak and, okay, cancel the TP there from G. He looked like he was going to TP bottom for a second.
Oh,
but,
they
yeah.
took over the catapult, the Dominator.
Yeah. Nice play there from the Visage. And all you got to do is just, you know, Meteor Hammer the next wave and push it out. Hope for the best, because right now they're hitting that tier 3.
Yeah, and they do have Blink on Tree. But as you mentioned in the draft, no damage there. Meteor Hammer going to connect onto G as the Aegis expires. Okay, maybe a chance here. End up pulling him outside of the base. And meanwhile, Visage is sort of keeping that bottom lane pressure out and trying to push for some racks. So they're going to need to respond to this. The push is going to be stopped, even without the Sand King there.
Yeah, the nice thing, too, is since it's not like a full commitment, they're going to be able to heal that tower back up. And when the tier 3 is back at full HP, and it's going to, you know, you're going to have to start at ground 0, basically. So maybe they need to pick before they can really do this. You don't see them? Okay, they went to Rubik instead.
Yeah. Well, he ends up dodging away, and they keep him alive. A good overgrowth there, and they're maybe going to be able to find this kill on a 5er. Looking for the finish, almost there. It's not quite in time, though. And the Terrorize forces them back. Great play from Team Spirit with the Curse Crown as well. They need to separate. They've caught themselves in the tree. Team Spirit surging forward. They get the lift up onto Shadow Fiend as well. He's forced to pop the BKB and going to take a lot of damage now as he tries to run. Illidan on his tail, an Undershock likely to fall. They get the kill. The Burrow Strike is not enough to keep him alive, and he is not going to survive through that. This might be it finally. Team Spirit have waited it out with the Ags Razor. Are going to be able to take it, and GG is called.
Yeah, I don't blame him for tapping out, man. The draft from Spirit this game was actually very, very good. Like, their last draft was good too, but I feel like this one was even better. Like, the Bristleback 4th pick just literally destroyed them. It was so hard for them to do anything to that hero whatsoever that they just can't, you know, they can't ever really establish a foothold in the game. You got a bunch of heroes that don't really do much damage. That's why I thought it was interesting that they opened up with Tree Rubik.
Yeah.
You know, the next 3 heroes you pick better all have like 5 Laguna Blades as their damage because you don't do any.
Yeah.
And that was like the consistent theme throughout the game. It's like, okay, yeah, you hit an overgrowth, you get a lift on this guy, you know, you get a CC into a Requiem, and that's it. That was all their damage. The Visage never got farmed enough to really flex his muscles in the game. It's not really a great example of how powerful the hero can be, but it's not really the Visage's fault. It's just, again, because of the draft.
And, you know, they had all these delay mechanisms, these things that were clearing out creep ways. In the end, it didn't really matter. I think that Vega played that about as well as you could have for the draft, but in the end, like you said, it was just all too much. Going into game number 2, I mean, that's sort of like a weird drafting thing, where like a single hero or just like kind of throws off your entire mentality. How do you think you respond for Vega?
Well, again, I think that these teams have played against each other quite often, so they know kind of the styles that each one of them want to play and what they're good at and what they're not good at. I think this time around, I mean, how often do you see like Shree Rubik together and then the enemy team picks Bristleback? Like, you just don't see games like that a whole lot. So if it's just a one-off, I don't really consider it a big deal. But, you know, at the end of the day, they crushed game 1 still. Like, they won game 1 harder than Spirit won game 2. And I feel like in both games, I mean, I guess the second one maybe a little bit less so. I didn't love their draft in game 2, but they're showing a lot of versatility, and I still think that they have the potential to take this, because now it's basically just a BO3. Okay. Because the teams are 1-1.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back in a little bit with our game number 3 in the beginning of our new best of 3. In this best of 5, Vega versus Team Spirit, winner is going to the MDL Major. Stick around, everybody. More to come in just a few.